Now, the question I want to ask you, does Cal Raleigh deserve to be mentioned in those MVP talks? I know there's people saying Judge is better. There's people saying Raleigh deserves it more because he's a catcher and he sits on his butt all day while Judge just stands in the outfield. It's not fair. Who are you giving this edge to this AO MVP? I mean, you talk about Cal Raleigh, a guy who no one saw coming. You know, he showed previews of power past seasons, but this year alone, he's been a big dangerous hitter in that lineup.
Yeah, I've said it before, and we talked about it a little in other shows, and we said that Kyle Raleigh deserves to be in the talks of MVP. Why not? Why? Because
Definitely.
58 home runs doesn't come easy, especially for catchers. Remember, the guy that held the most home runs hit 48 home runs, which was Salder Perez, dude, and he overtook it by 10 home runs. Now he's at 58. That's incredible, and he's a
Yeah.
switch hitter too. So just by hearing that he's a switch hitter, he's a catcher, that kind of draws, attention to his name. Now you got to look at the other side. Aaron Judge is not letting up, dude. This guy's leading in RBIs. He's not leading in home runs, but he's leading in batting average. He's a team captain for the Yankees. So it's not close. It's not fair for Aaron Judge to have this, big news coming from Cal Raleigh and say, he's going to be the MVP, even though the numbers show that Aaron Judge is going to be the MVP, dude. Why?
Right.
Because it's just like it's just the way it is. Hopefully, what happens is that the writers don't go and say what I said earlier in these early shows. He's a catcher. He's hit 58 home runs. Possibly could hit the 63 home runs. We don't know,
Ooh,
right? It could be that. It could happen. There's still enough games. There's still enough games for that to happen. So hopefully these writers don't go ahead and vote and say, I want something different. Because if it does, it's going to suck. I don't agree with writers that say, we have a different name. Let's go ahead and vote for him. He had an impressive season. But don't overlook Aaron Judge. He has a great season every year out. Right. So I don't think it's fair. I still say Aaron Judge is the MVP, dude. And I'm not discrediting anything that Kyle Riley's doing, dude. It's just we're going based off of numbers. We're going based off what the team is doing. And both teams are doing good. They're performing well. It's just one player is doing better than the other, way better than the other.
Oh man,
yeah.
As much as I want earlier in the season, I would have said Aaron Judge, but I feel like as of late, he's just been a very quiet player. Hasn't been as the dangerous Aaron Judge we really know for him to be. I want to give the edge to Cal Raleigh on this one. I just think the guy's been phenomenal. He continues to prove that he could hit a long ball, either batting lefty or righty, doesn't matter. And he's catching every single day. I know his numbers are not as impressive, but whose numbers are impressive anyway these days? I mean, the batting average is as low as it's ever been in the game of baseball. The guy has delivering every time for the Mariners. This is the first time we see a deep Mariners team that could go deep into the playoffs. And it's because of Cal Raleigh. And now if he gets that 62 home run, which he could possibly do in the next 6 games, I'm going to give it to Cal Raleigh 100% if I see that happen. Why? Because I feel like Aaron Judge has had an impressive season, but it's been just a normal season for him. He could do way better. I think.
But see, that's the thing, though. That's the thing, though. It shouldn't be that way. It should be more like you're performing and you're putting up those numbers, and no one is really close to you. I
also want to vote for the most exciting player right now, and Cal Raleigh.
It is Cal Raleigh. Yeah, you're right. It is.
Every time he's at bat, I need to see the big thumper hit one out. I'm sorry. Aaron Judge has gotten kind of boring lately. I know what to expect. Either he gets a home run or he strikes out. That's what Aaron Judge is these days.
Yeah.
I mean, Cal Raleigh does the same, but I mean, it feels a little bit more impressive because he's a new guy. I feel like Aaron Judge just got a little bit boring. You're just kind of like, okay, again, Aaron Judge. He's done the same thing every year. Who's out there doing something better than him? Well, Cal Raleigh could also hit 62 home runs, and he's a catcher. Something we're probably never going to see in history again.
We're not. But see, that's where all these narratives come in and say, okay, he's a catcher. He's all this. Let's give him the MVP. And you're taking away from his performance as well, because you're looking at Aaron Judge. He has good numbers. It's not like he doesn't have any good numbers. And just because you want to change it up, like say, you know what, I'll give it to Kyle Raleigh. Let's talk about the National League. A lot of people were talking about Schwarber. They were saying, Schwarber has the most home runs in the National League. But don't forget about Ohtani. Look at what he's doing as well. He's pitching and still hitting 50-plus home runs. Like, I've said it in this show forever. Ohtani's not ever going to lose on MVP if he keeps doing what he's doing.
Yeah.
Are you going to change it up just because he didn't win the home run, battle in the NL? Like, come on. You know, that's what's crazy, dude. So that's what and dude, Ernie, dude, you've heard me say Cal Riley should deserve to win the MVP because he's a catcher and stuff like that. You remember when we had the conversation, right?
Right.
So now what I'm saying is like I'm not taking back those words. I'm just saying like, damn, it takes more than just that. And it'll suck if it happens. Imagine Schwarber winning the MVP over Ohtani. Would you be upset about that? I mean, I wouldn't be upset. I'm just like, it'll turn heads though.
It would, because Cal Schwarber's also a DH, right?
Yeah.
We talk about Shohei Ohtani. Well, he doesn't play on the field. And, I mean, so does it Schwarber. Schwarber's also a DH as well. Now, Ohtani gets the edge because he's a pitcher. Although he may not have, phenomenal pitching numbers this year as a starter because he hasn't really pitched anything above 5 innings.
Yeah.
So he has not much to prove for it. But Ohtani still takes the edge because at the end of the day, he's a starter and it's able to do more than Schwarber could ever do in the pitching mound.
Yeah. So, all right, man, you got Cal Riley, and I guess we're switching it up because I think you had Aaron Judge before, and I had Cal Riley. Now we flipped it up.
I feel like this past 2 months, Cal Riley has proven to me that, I thought he was going to finally cool off, and he just never has.
Dude, that's the thing.
That home run derby, I was like,
exactly, yeah.
After home run derby, die out, and he's only probably going to hit 10 home runs the rest of the second half. No, this guy just even picked it up even more. And that's why I think he's had the most impressive season. I mean, like you said, Judge is having almost a 50 home run season. He just needs one more. That's incredible numbers. But I feel like when Judge giving you 62 other years, 59, 62, now you're like seeing 50, that just not seem as impressive as other years,
Damn, you're putting like I guess you're putting like you didn't do as good as this year, like as last year. You're not winning it. You got to do better.
I mean, yeah, but Judge does have the on base percentage over 450, which is impressive. Man, we're gonna see what these writers write, and this is gonna be one of those. We're gonna see what do the writers really want. Do you want to go with all the stats or the long ball? What drives these fans to like baseball more, though? And if you talk about the 90s, the long ball always wins.
Yeah. And
the long ball.
Let's not take away what the MVP actually means. It's the most valuable player in your team, in the whole league. It's an individual award, yes, but it involves the whole team. Can the Yankees perform without Aaron Judge? We already know. No. Can the Mariners perform without Cal Riley? We already saw. No.
Yeah, they will suck too.
yeah, exactly. So these two players are the most valuable players in their teams. Not only that, but in the league. So we're talking about two guys that are going to battle it out. The end of the season, we're going to see who wins it. But like I said, I think they shouldn't be changing things around when it comes to that because, and you just said it. If you hit 50 home runs last year, you better do better. And no one's really close to you. I think that's kind of like, I don't know. I don't agree, but I'm not the writer, dude. I'm not the one that's gonna get talked about when they don't give it to the right guy. Because some people are gonna agree and disagree, right?
Definitely, man. But Cal Riley just got to give a special mention that this guy is lights out right now. He also has a lot of protection in that lineup. You got to remind yourself. I mean, you added Eugenio Suarez in the middle of the lineup, Julio Rodriguez. They're all performing better as of late just because the protection they have. You got pitchers. What the heck am I supposed to pitch to this guy? You just face Julio. Now you got to face Cal Raleigh. Now you got to face Eugenio, the Naylor brother. You name it. They could get you anyway.
Yeah. There was one thing that I learned when I was a kid. I thought I was the MVP at the end of the year one season because I did better than the season before. And what the coach told me after that kind of like it didn't sit well with me. He didn't give it to me because other kids needed to win the MVP. And that because I didn't make that team better, I didn't win it. And I'm like, what? That sucked because I felt like I was. So these guys are making their teams better, dude. Both of them. That's why it's so hard to choose. Right. And I think when you're looking into it deeper like that and you're saying like, man, what else are they doing? Are these guys talking to their players? Are they out there in the community, which both of them are, dude? You can't say anything negative about one. Like, if you were having like a discussion of Juan Soto and Tatis, now that's hard too, because these two guys have a lot of attitude, right? So you're like, kind of like, oh, who do I pick?